the podcast by three guys, one in thoughts and presence somewhere else. But we here to educate, entertain, and inspire. This is episode 23. I'm calling this the GOAT episode. Shout out to LeBron. Ah, that's sure to get people pissed off. Yeah, it's the GOAT episode. I want to start out. We had a plan to start out, but I want to go right into sports, and then we're gonna dip back out and dip back in. I've been watching, with this being the opening week of the NBA season, really just kind of just watching things, and all I'm seeing in highlights and on social media is Bronny James just really getting it. I mean, the level of disrespect or teasing or hazing that he's getting. Well, first of all, he came in not based really on skill, and we can't argue about that. That's not even a given. He didn't come here in skill. He came in because of his dad.
I
Which
just wanna say, Brittany Griner is expecting her apology letter in the mail. I just wanna say that
no, I'm 10 toes down on that. That won't change until she confesses. That won't change. She knew that was in the bag, but see, you finna get me started. But no, Bronny has really been getting it. I mean, he had the normal hazing from his dad. His dad poured Fruit Loops in his car. I thought that was kind of funny. That was cool. And then he was like, "Don't be late, rookie." That was funny. But the court uh taunting, I mean, he's really catching it. I've heard comments, "No need to take a shower. You only played 3 minutes."
Damn.
Yes,
That's cold
just
blooded.
I really feel for him, and I hope he doesn't give up because of the taunting. I read where they might be sending him down to the G League after this first week, which will probably be good. And then I got me to thinking maybe he should have went overseas for a year. I don't know, but I think it wasn't about getting him in the league. It was about him playing along with his dad. So that short term, statistic is going to have a long term effect on him. I feel sorry for the guy, but I just say don't give up. Don't let them get in your head. Don't lose your cool. Just keep practicing. Your dad's the GOAT. You can learn a lot from him, but he can only show you so much. You gotta experience it. You gotta do trial and error on your own. What do you have to say about that, Brandon?
I don't like it, man. I don't like it. To me, he's a kid that came in 55th draft pick.
Yes.
He should get there on his merits, and now it's like made to seem like it's a sideshow. Like when he checked into the game, it was like all over the place. Sports Center and Twitter and every news feed out there. It was like first time in history they're on the court, and then you pass him the ball, you see him shoot one shot, and they get him off the court. So it's becoming like gimmicky, and I think it's disrespectful to the game and to Bronny because it's like, come on, he worked. I'm sure he worked all his life to be in the NBA. Let him show what he's made of, and to send him down to the D League, G League. I'm sorry. Um, I, I'll say the F League because they
They
Vegas,
fucked
but,
up.
but but to send him down there after a couple weeks, I think that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
It's to
And
sell
then
tickets.
yeah, and then I hear celebrities coming out. I saw Drea Michelle. I think that's how you say her name. The basketball wife lady. She said, I like his vibe. He's the type of vibe that I like. And
Rich.
I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, the man just got in the league and already he had all this stuff thrown at him. Publicity, skeezers, everything thrown at him. Commercials, all this stuff. Let him settle in. I think you're gonna see what he's made of. At least give him more than a couple weeks
He's
before
doing
you just send him.
commercials.
Yeah, you got commercials.
Okay, no, that's
Mm,
way over the top gimmicky. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm just glad they didn't do the powder and throw it in the air
yeah,
thing
yeah,
together.
yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't do that. Oh man.
It's becoming gimmicky to me though, because they're making it that way, and it's like, come on, man. He, I know the kid worked hard. I know people will say he didn't get there on his own merit, whatever. But the kid worked hard though, so at least give him that respect.
If this is his dad's last year playing, I wonder how he's going to get treated after the fact, or even regardless, when LeBron retires, how is he going to get treated in the league? Oh, gimmick's over. Wave, or he'll be in the Philippines with Dwight Howard. But yeah, I just say really, I don't like bullies, and they seem to be bullying him. He kind of set himself up for it. Like you said, it's all a sideshow, and every real player recognizes that. And I guess that's why they're treating him as such. But I hope he sticks with it. I hope he gets better. I hope it turns around that he gains their respect on the court.
Well,
And
he didn't
this,
set himself. He didn't set himself up for that. LeBron set him up for that.
well, he allowed
Yeah,
him. You know,
yeah,
he went along with it. So he's part of the problem too. He went along with it. And he should have known what he was walking into based on his skill level. Even so, that everybody was going to come at him because it seemed like his dad got him a job. You know, it sounds like any other company. My dad got me this job. I got hooked up. I didn't go through the screening processes. My dad got me the job. So yeah, he knew what he was getting into, and I hope in the end it does a 180. And I don't see him being a great as his dad, because to me it kind of skips generations sometimes, or
yeah.
the
Ain't no.
sons don't do as great as the fathers, or and the only instance that I can think of where it's opposite in the NBA was Dale Curry was a so-so player, but Steph Curry is a fucking superstar. I just think it goes in cycles or generations or phases every other generation or so.
Yeah,
But
ain't no Griffin. What is it, King Griffey Juniors in the NBA? Ain't no.
no,
Nah, it ain't that situation.
well, no, that's well, was his dad really that great? Was Ken Griffey Sr. all that? I think his son was a better baseball player than he was.
That's what I'm
So
saying. But
yeah,
his father was still good, man. Father was still good.
I mean, and Dale Curry was so. He wasn't a buster. He
Yeah.
was starting, but he wasn't as great as his son is. And so you have cases like Michael Jordan, his sons. They just thought the world of him, and they both turned out to be not so successful. They didn't even. I don't think they even made it to the collegiate.
Yeah, they made it to I believe it was Louisville they went
Hmm,
to. Yeah, but I think in that situation they just like LeBron gives a lot of attention to his kids, which has to him respect. But I don't think Jordan did that. I don't think
no,
they didn't. I don't think Jordan did that for them. So
I don't think he was really there as a father. That's just my opinion. I wasn't living inside their house, but it just seemed like he was just off doing other shit and not really being a father to his kids. Really
mm,
homing their skills. But Bronny, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for the underdog. So we got the election coming up in a couple of weeks. Trump is leading in the polls, and I say that with asterisks because the numbers, early voters And I hate to say this, black folks gonna wait to the day of to vote. Majority of them. So and it's part of me being hopeful that Trump doesn't become president. That's not me spewing my political views. That's just me with my opinion. I just don't think things will be great not only for minorities but for the middle class as a whole. And with that comes, the further destruction of the United States as a superpower. If we cater to the few that are billionaires and not trying to uplift the middle class to become financially strong, I just think that just eventually ruins our superpower status, so to say. So no, I don't want to see Trump in office. Hope Kamala Harris pulls it out. Not saying that she'll do any better or do any worse, but anybody but Trump. I've been saying that for years.
To me, to me, and I didn't kind of feel like feel like I don't I don't know who to trust when it come to vote, but I know just reading all the stuff, and I know people will say Trump's racist. I don't know if he's racist, but I can tell you a lot of
So
instances. Excuse me. I can tell you a lot of instances where I feel like he's biased. Like I'll go far back. Uh, I'll bring up Central Park 5. He took out a whole ad when that incident happened. That incident happened in April of 1998. I want to say that incident happened where a white woman was attacked and raped, and these 5 teens were blamed for it. And he was like all gun ho, death penalty, lock him up, throw away the key. Put out a whole ad on it. 4 months, I believe August. After that, a black boy named Yusef Hawkins,
I
16
remember that
years
story
old,
very well
1980, 89. He was going to buy a car, used car.
in Bensonhurst in New York.
Yeah, and the white group of white kids thought he was a part of something that was like they were going to destroy their neighborhood. So they jumped him, shot him in the chest, killed
Actually, they
him.
thought he was going to see a white girl.
But I kept it vague saying that.
No,
But
no, no. It's just me honest. That's the truth. I mean,
mm,
I don't want to, stress
mm.
the truth out. That's what it was. That's They thought he was going to see a white girl. It was race motivated.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, all these white kids, they fought him. They fought his friends. It was only 3 of them, but it was like 30 of them, and they shot him still. And the situation with that is you heard crickets. It's crickets, not the same rhetoric that he spit out with the that situation, Central Park 5. Oh, death penalty, this and that. None of it. Not a word. Not a word. But that's what I mean. I felt like he was biased in those situations. And then
Well, I would say that I don't think I would think, and I'm gonna follow up with what his actions, but I would think he was in an uproar because there was a woman that was beaten and raped, as opposed to a black male beaten and shot. Rape is a heinous thing to have your body violated, whether you're male or female. That's a real heinous crime to me. I sound like SVU, but yes, he did take out the front page. He did take out a page in the New York Times, but he should have took out another page after the fact to admit his wrongdoing and say, "Hey, I was wrong. I wish
that's
those
what
I
I
wish
mean.
those men well." Yeah.
That's what I mean though. Everybody says he's a good person. If you make a mistake or you make a misjudgment, most people apologize. You haven't heard one apology for Trump University or calling people chinks or Central Park 5. Not one apology. In fact, update from that Central Park 5, the 5 individuals from that are suing Donald Trump. I don't know if you're aware of that. For his, I think the word was delegation on them. I think that's the word. Uh, Somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong, but that's that's what they're suing him for. And to me, he's never once said, "Hey, I was wrong." He still maintains those kids are the attackers, even though they've had a murderer confess and the DNA tied him to it. He still has never once said, "Hey," they're innocent. I apologize for what I said and all that stuff. I feel like that's what a good person would do. And there's just too many instances to where you can say with Donald Trump, he's been involved in this stuff, although absolved of wrongdoing, for the settlements have been issued and all that with Trump University or the rental scam in the 70s, I want to say late 70s, with or the factory working on the poor conditions, that incident, that stuff. Although he's been absolved of it, he's never once said, "Hey, I apologize," or none of that stuff. That's the thing. What good people would do, I would expect. But people I say he's a good person and all that. He's for the people. He's for opportunity. That's what I believe. And you got all these people like Antonio Brown doing these grandstanding things. I call it, because speeches is, if you watch him speak, the speech don't even make sense. Antonio Brown's like talking Tim Walsh. He could never That guy could never beat me in football. What the hell does that have to do with the next president? Donald
So
Trump can't beat you in football either.
so one thing, you talk about, you don't want to call him an outright racist. I remember during his presidency, Puerto Rico had experienced the earthquake, flooding, and everything, and we were, waiting, just waiting for Donald Trump to say, I'm going to send aid over there. He was making jokes saying, I'm just going to send them a whole bunch of paper towels. He, you don't make light of such a tragic occurrence, you know. And I still remember it, and this was on camera, you know. Oh, and I guess you want to know what I'm gonna do about Puerto Rico. He just went, oh, extra pronunciation and everything about it, and that's when he made the paper towel joke. So I think Donald Trump is a racist.
Oh,
I think
oh,
uh I think he aligns himself with some black people and basically, and I'm not calling them that, but who would you would call uncle and aunt Uncle Toms. I don't know what they call black women like, Omarosa or Amber Rose, who's a rapper and a social media influencer. That's funny. That was from the Republican convention. They called her a rapper and social media influencer.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, I was
Oh.
about to go into my sexy red tangent, but I'm trying to. I said it, but I didn't go into it. But anyhow, so they had a rally, a Democratic rally in Detroit earlier this week, where Eminem was there, supporting, Kamala Harris. And the coolest shit was Obama was there, and he recited uh, the lines to "Lose Yourself," and he said it so fluently to the point where I was like, "Oh, is that what Eminem said?" 'Cause he said it so, in his Obama voice, you know. And turn around, Takashi 6ix9ine, or Fruity Pebbles as I call him, he gets on social media and starts bashing Eminem for supporting Kamala Harris. I mean, are you a Republican? Yeah, we you can keep him. That guy, that character, that rat. Yeah, he's the last person I want to get, social media political advice
Political.
from, or political criticism from. So yeah, I was just like, fuck you. But then, as expected in Houston, Beyonce makes an appearance at Kamala Harris rally. Last minute voice. Of course she had to. So couple of weeks now, well, next week and then a week after, pretty much a week and a half away from decision 2024. So everybody out there that listens to this podcast, vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Just exercise your right to vote. Do your research. Know your facts. Don't get everything off TV. There's certain things that can't be denied if you do look it up on the internet. Validate your sources, but vote.
Yes, I double pound on that. That is people have died for that right. So still vote. I know it a lot of times, at least speaking as a person who votes, it feels like the endless rabbit hole. We never get the change that we request, or never get the the community how it should be based on who we vote all the time. But sometimes we do break through. We do break through. So please vote. Definitely.
I've seen you stand outside in hours for a pair of Jordans with the store closed, waiting in line, waiting. The polls open at 6 a.m. in the morning. You got all day to vote. If there is a line, it's not a waiting line. The polls are open. Get in line for that. If you can get in line for Jordans or the new Coach bag or whatever frivolous, device or object that holds no value, you can get in line to vote. That's all.
I think if I remember correctly, the number of votes overall since 2012 have been trending downward. So less and less people are voting. So that's definitely want to get out and vote. So mm,
I
fight as
think
much as you can with your vote.
it's funny that you picked, 2012. With Kamala Harris running, I think there's going to be a spike. I think they got out there to support her, so to say, during Biden's first term. I think it was the black vote that really got pulled over, and it was her affiliation with the AKA sorority that really pushed it over. I really do think that that's my opinion. Um, they're followers. They're hey, we got to go support our soror, so to say. So boom, there's the votes. I think it'll come back again, but that leads me to another thing. It doesn't stop at the White House. It doesn't stop at the top of the pyramid. Vote for your senators. Vote for your congressmen. Hell, vote for your mayor and your aldermen. That's where it all starts. It starts at the bottom and it works its way up. The president, at the end of the day, is still limited to his power based on the House and the Senate. You got to get the right people, the honest people voted in, and not the money grabbers. So it's a cycle. It's not just hey, you go dormant for 4 years, and when it's time to vote for the president, you go out and you pick that one ballot. See who else is running for other offices. See what they're about. See what changes they want to make, and vote. They need your vote too.
I was this last mayor vote of Chicago. I didn't vote. No, and they ended up having a tie and all that stuff where they had to pick between those final two. Uh, uh, I believe it's Brandon Johnson and another guy that worked for the Chicago Board of Education. But I felt like, damn, I should have voted because Brandon Johnson's done terrible. He's done terrible. I just want to say that as a
Do you think you'd have
person
voted? Did you think you would have voted for the other person as opposed to Brandon Johnson?
looking back on it. I know I wouldn't have voted for Brandon Johnson.
Hmm.
Yeah, looking back on it, I know that. But my thing with bringing that up, and I'm glad you brought that up too with Kamala Harris getting the black vote. People have made a lot of comments about her race and everything, but from what I know, officially listed, there's no Indian ties that I officially listed. I think that's false. From everything I've read, her mother's Asian, her father's black.
Well, when they say Asian for her mother, uh, they're kind of trying to. close the category, but she is Middle Eastern.
Well, I've seen nothing that says like her direct descendant to like Middle Eastern. But like I say, I do my own research, so there's always a chance I could be wrong. So let me someone correct me then.
But
But come
no,
with the facts. Come with the facts.
even during the Democratic National Convention, her sister came out, had all the Middle Eastern features, and they told the story of their mother coming from India to the United States, where she was set up for an arranged marriage, but she didn't want to do it. But here in the States is when she met a Jamaican gentleman, and they both fell in love. So 100% she is Indian, but they categorize it, they change it every year. Like we went from Negroes to blacks to Afro Americans. Yeah, we were categorized by our hairstyles, Afro Americans. Yes, uh, she is Indian, but they view Indian as Asian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you just schooled me. Just schooled
Mm.
me. But the reason I brought that up though is a lot of people saying, "Oh, you think you just because you say you black, you're gonna get our vote." Well, you shouldn't be voting for somebody just because they black. That was a big thing when Obama was elected. Like, oh, we just voted for him because he was black. No, vote for the policies that's gonna make the change, not the not the skin color you think gonna make the change. Like
Exactly.
that ain't.
Exactly.
I gotta sorry, I gotta
I can't hear you. All right.
sorry, audience, I had to plug my charger.
No, you're all good. I can just say that we just from there we just go on to a different subject. So, um, where are we going now?
I think we're gonna end up going back to sports because
Okay.
I definitely want to talk about our Chicago Bulls. Uh, you know the issues they're at.
All right.
You
So,
know,
uh,
the Chicago Bulls have been so bad that they have not even garnered like local TV station. Like that is crazy. I've never seen that in all my years.
well, don't they got their own network, the marquee net? No, not that's the Cubs. That we got the local sports channel for the
Yeah,
Bears, right?
the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, they have not put them on the local network. Like you got to go. Yeah,
On the
I've
local
never
network.
on the local network. They have not put them on there. They're already not getting national.
Yeah,
It's
they're
only
probably not. I don't know. I haven't seen the schedule, full schedule, but I don't see them as of right now, or the schedule, them being on TNT, ESPN. They might be on NBA TV. I'm not sure. Uh,
that's
so
but that's so disrespectful that you're not gonna put the Bulls on that local TV at least. Like damn, I ain't
that's
never seen that.
crazy.
I ain't never seen that. And the thing they did beat the Bucks a day ago. Pretty good team. They're
Oh,
one and
okay.
one. They're 1-1, but nobody would have known that because it's only shown in certain areas, and it ain't on all the local station in Chicago.
Well, they get some type of response on the news. They get 2.3 minutes.
that's
Two and a
that's
2.5 minutes. Highlights. But I guess if they play better, they will get more attention, I guess. But I mean, what are they doing locally that's usually for the Bears. I mean the Bulls
Yeah,
to.
I'm like,
So what did they put
I
on
would.
their cornhole, axe throwing, what?
The other day, I think they had I think they just had the news on that, and that was pretty much it. Like
Hmm.
they didn't have the Bulls a game on that, and I was shocked to see that. And then everybody like on, of course, on social media is playing because Chicago or TNT had a situation where Charles Barkley had to guess which player was on which team,
Hmm.
and when it came to Thornton, what's his name, Thornton Hucker, I want to say his name, Thornton Hucker. Hopefully,
Hmm.
I'm saying it right. THP. He used to play for the Lakers, but he on the Bulls now. And when it came to guess, and then he was like Utah Jazz, and of course he on the Bulls, so he got it wrong. And he was like, "Why the hell would I watch the Bulls?" And I'm like, like that
Classic
is
Charles.
yeah,
Mm.
that makes it everybody expecting us to be losers, and then treating us like losers. So if I'm a player on the Chicago Bulls, I would take that super personal.
Well, right
Super.
now, as we record this, we're only 4 days into the season, and Saturday games haven't been played yet, so technically three. So it, I haven't, for some reason, on my phone, my highlights weren't popping up for the Miami Heat. So I just had to reset those. Game started, in the quarter, final score thing. I had to put that on there. They lost. It's the start of the season. It's just like gaining momentum, so to say. People
Yeah,
are
but the
watching what they want to see. They're looking at Bronny. They're looking at the Lakers. They're looking at what New York is going to do. They're looking at San Antonio. So they're looking at the popular teams that they think are going to make it. But I just hope the Bulls are getting some local support.
but that general consensus is we're gonna suck. And like before they even got on the court, they're treating them like that. And I would take it personal, like super personal. If I know a lot of NBA players ain't as sensitive as I would be about that situation. But if I was on the team, I'll take it super personal. Oh, we finna bust everybody ass.
So they're being treated like a bunch of Bronnies right now. Then basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's and that's embarrassing too. Especially now that you see like the Blackhawks are starting to play good, the Bears are starting to play good, the Cubs are kind of rising a little bit. The White Sox we're still hopeful, but
They
but
they had a bad season, and I'm not a Sox fan,
mm.
and it was kind of good to see them lose, just for the sake of poking fun at my friends that are Sox fans. But I hope they do better next year. I mean, right now they carry a lifelong record that's going to be hard to break
Mm.
of games lost in a season. So they're going to carry that around, but I'm sure they're going to pick up and do better. I don't think they're going to break their own record next season. Let's say that.
You might
Uh,
want to knock on wood.
I hope they make the necessary changes and they become a better team. I mean, that
Yeah.
was beyond mediocrity what they did. Did they choose to do that on purpose? So they could get like a high draft pick? I don't know, but I seriously doubt they repeat the same record that they did this season that just passed.
You think they gonna get a better team and a better roster with the owner cutting back salaries? Like the players are only one player is making well, two players are making over $10 million.
You make that sound bad.
Exactly. Their roster is terrible. And no player is gonna want to come to this organization with that type of rhetoric. I already know. And we're only getting the best draft pick we can get is the 10th pick. That's the best we can get.
Well,
So
sometimes to go to a buster ass team, unless you don't have aspirations of like going to the World Series that year, you can improve your market value by going to a team like that if you're a good caliber player and boost your value. Maybe you sign a 1 year, 2 year deal, and basically it's training camp for the rest of the league to see how good you are so that after that 2 year contract, you can go make a huge profit. But I hope people aren't just passing through, you know.
Look, look, I have no hopes on them. But back to the Chicago Bulls, I think they're probably ninth or eighth seed again. I think they're that type of team. I don't think they're as terrible as everybody trying to make them out to be. But I really hope we could tank for Cooper Flag because I want to see what, like, every year the Bears just got a generational talent. The Hawks just got a generational talent.
Hmm.
If the Bulls can get a generational talent, sky's the limit. So that's why I'm trying to see, because when we had in '08, when we had that number one pick, we got Rose, and you see where that took us. Playoffs every year. We did get ousted by LeBron almost every year, but at least we were competitive. We were
Hmm.
rebel. Uh, we meant something to the city, and they treated
Well,
us like that.
Chicago Bulls fans have this incurable disease, so to say, and there's no cure for it. Like I said, it's an incurable disease. Uh, they can't get past the Jordan era. Whenever there's a topic about sports, they always go back in time to the Jordan era. I'm like, yeah, that happened, but what about now? What about 20 years later? What do we, let's talk about now. Let's talk about the now. Let's not talk about the six championships. Let's talk about the now. That came and went.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you reach such a high, even for the Bears, when you reach such a high, winning the championship, they expect that greatness every year. And unless you're the Patriots, unless you're the Boston Celtics, unless you're the Lakers,
Or
unless
the
you're the
Yankees.
Yankees or the LA Dodgers, you ain't doing it like that. And most organizations ain't run like that. So that's what we want us to be run like that. We want to be great every year. We don't want us to suck.
Well, I come to the realization years ago that some organizations are just happy being profitable. They don't want to win because you got to put more money into it. But as long as they're in the black, the merchandise is selling, they got loyal fans, they got season ticket holders, they got a waiting list. They're happy. They're making money, and you got to put more money into a talent that's going to take you to the next level, and that's taken out of their pockets. Like they're really starving for food, like they're eating ramen noodles and spam. They're just greedy. They just don't want to invest.
I want to get your opinion on something. I heard Mark Cuban say it. He was saying on Shannon Sharp's podcast, he was saying that eventually players are going to be making upwards of $1 billion more than the owners. And then I heard Shannon Sharp say even when Anthony Edwards time's up for his contract, he probably going to be making $400 million a year. And I'm like, it's getting like the NBA contracts are getting crazy, like almost like
Crazy.
baseball contract.
Yes.
And you don't see NFL players getting that. But I'm like, NFL is not too far behind in revenue of the NBA. So how is the my thing is I know, hey, these athletes make crazy money already, but how the hell is the salaries on certain players on the NFL getting lower and the NBA is getting so high, ridiculously high? Unless you're a quarterback in the NFL, you're the only one that's going to be making like 40, 50 million a year. The rest of the NBA is making 100 million. Some guys are making 80 million a year in the NBA. Like that's crazy.
And I,
That's
I, I guess the reason baseball players are making so much, what is it, 164 games a year?
mhm. 61
Uh,
or
no,
62. I'm
it's a
sorry.
yeah, 62. Yeah. So you got 81 games on the road, 81 at home.
Mhm.
You got a large capacity. You're generating that much money with concessions, with merchandising, and so on and so forth. Football is what, the 17 seasons where everybody gets a bye week. So I mean, games times, you know, let me get this right. Per game revenue is going to be higher in baseball because they got more games than football. Now, with the basketball salaries getting so high, I think that's because they're going over to the streaming apps and they're signing these real huge contracts and expecting a big return out of it. So that bubble can easily pop real soon.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. The Super Bowl is the most viewed sporting event behind soccer, FIFA.
Yes.
So why is that driven? That generates so much revenue right there. That'll make for like that make like for 40 NBA games right there. That one event. So why is it that their salaries are decreasing? Unless you're a quarterback. The only thing I've seen going up in the NFL is the quarterback salary. All the other players are kind of like either mid or they're like decreasing.
No, I agree with you with the Super Bowl.
Mm.
Even the advertising, just for a 30-second spot, it's like a real ridiculous amount of money. Why they not somebody's skimming off the top. And it's probably the owners.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. But I just think that's
Jerry
crazy.
Jones.
Some of these players in the NBA, man, they can be might as well be owners in the NFL because I mean they making the craziest amount of money. LeBron, I mean, if he stays on a couple, maybe a year or two more, he's already well over $1 billion. He could end up reaching 2 billion.
I don't think that's all from playing in the NBA though. I think that it's also with the with advertisement, endorsement deals, and so forth. And then he's creating other streams of income with his production company. So he's looking outside the box. I mean, Jordan, his contract,
He was
well,
underpaid. He was
underpaid,
underpaid.
underpaid,
He was
but
underpaid.
he made the money from his endorsements. And people said, "Oh, he made his money from endorsements," but no, his primary job wasn't paying him what he deserved. He 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 got robbed.
Oh yeah.
So so that's what made him have the affairs and gamble and everything. So
Spoken like a LeBron fan. Spoken like a
yeah.
LeBron.
No, Jordan used to stay at when they were on the road, he wouldn't stay at the same hotel as the team.
Oh yeah, I
And
know. I
and
know.
he would say, to get privacy, but he had his little Charlotte honey, his New York honey, his LA honey, hell, his even Utah honey.
I always think it's crazy and I don't want to gear too far away from sports, but just the state of what uh and I hate to say it like this, state of what being a hoe is today. I'll say it like that. But there are women that literally wait at hotel rooms. They get past security just to get to these players.
hmm
And it's like crazy. Like they'll just be sacrifice everything. I think I don't remember the story too clear, but
Put
there
it
was one
on the
lady,
line.
one lady, she said she wants to have, I think like 100 people in one night or something like that, something crazy like that, and she was like all NBA players, and I'm like that is ridiculous. Like all her father's got to be like disappointed, but it's just like the value of like some of these women now is like crazy.
It is, and
Yeah.
all they're gonna get is dick. It's not like they're gonna write a check after they have sex. It's just like bam, all right, on your way, and that's all they get. But yet, that's all they want sometimes. But she's looking for that one sucker that she can cash in on. Yeah, that's crazy. And I remember they instituted some type of program to the rookies NBA of what you would endure as an NBA player, about being smart about your money, about how you conduct yourselves, and how women are going to throw themselves at you and you can make yourself a target. I hope they're still doing that. They're
Well, I know
probably
in
not
the
listening, but
I know in the NFL, and I forget which team it was, but a player had snuck a girl through the to the hotel, snuck her in past security, and when the coaches found out, they immediately cut her
I
because
don't
I
remember
think
that.
that's what there was a I think it might have been the Saints actually. I'm not too clear on which one of the team it was, but I remember the coach came and no, it was the Giants. It was the Giants. Uh, he had his girl stay over the night in the hotel, getting her past security, and of course they were doing what they wanted to do, as a couple. But
Playing
when the
Scrabble,
coach, yeah, when the
praying.
when the coach found out, he called him right in, cut him, and the guy had been playing really good. He had been playing really good. Like he was had a strong chance of making the roster, and that one mistake cost him, cut
Rules are in place for a reason.
him.
If we didn't have street lights, everybody be crashing every day.
Yeah.
Now, people see yellow, they speed up, and you still have crashes. You still got people that blatantly run red lights. But if there was no street lights whatsoever, it would be confusion every day. It'd be crashes on every intersection. So, rules are set up as a guideline. It's there for a reason. And obviously, he wasn't laser focused. He wanted to get his freak off, his Diddy on, and look where it cost him.
Millions. Cost him
Hmm.
millions. I was this upcoming week, the Bears play a really I think it should be an exciting game if Jaden Daniels plays. But if he doesn't play, I still think it's going to be an exciting game because it's a good test to go against the number one offense in the league for our defense. That's what I'm seeing right now. I want to see that matchup against a quality offense versus our defense because we ain't had that all year. We're respect to the Houston Texans, respect to them, but I want to see what happens when we go against this offense. That's what I'm intrigued by. Not so
You've
much
been
the
speaking on this for weeks, so
yeah, yeah. I wanna see this because this will be a great test, and it'll tell me how they would do when they go against Green Bay, when they go against the Lions, when they go against the Vikings. Which we historically we play them very well. There hasn't been too many blowouts in our division when we play our division games, but I want to see. This will be my gauge way to gauge the season. Yeah.
so what was I finna say? We haven't played anybody in the division, no division games yet, have we?
Nope.
That's
Three.
weird. We usually play some in the first couple of first 4 or 5 games of the season, but it's going to be a lot of back-to-back division games coming down the tail end. That's all.
Everybody in the division has either one loss or two loss. Nobody is like out of the race. And if the playoffs started today, all four of the teams would be in the playoffs, which I think that's got to be a record. I'm not too sure of that. That's got to be a record.
Yeah, this is the toughest division going right now, the NFC North, by the way. So yeah, I want to see us beat Green Bay. That's we. When was the last time we beat Green Bay?
It's been since I want to say 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jay Cutler was our quarterback. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah.
Speaking of Jay Cutler, you hear about him getting arrested?
Yes, that is crazy. And the gun charges too, friend. That's crazy. That's crazy.
He was looking like, man, he just gave up football and took up meth as a hobby.
and it, and I don't know if when they broke the story, they was like they brought up Devin Hester talking about his bad leadership. Like
Hmm.
he was like hell of a quarterback on the field, but leadership, he's the worst person I ever met.
Hmm.
And I'm like, damn.
So that's how you felt.
Yeah. I'm like,
That's
damn.
just like when somebody in the neighborhood get arrested. I always knew something was off about him. It's just like the worst come, just to get some camera time. Or unless he's a serial killer, he was quiet. He kept to himself. But other than that, it's like, yeah, I already knew. I knew he was gonna snap one day. Don't surprise me at all. Yeah, had it written all
Yeah.
over his face.
But you don't know. That's like it's the element of surprise, though. That's what make these uh, serial killers so prominent because you they look like average day Joes. Like you can't even. Oh, what? He was a pastor for my youth church, and
Right.
but he killed 130 people. Like you can't
I didn't see that in him.
at
He was
all.
always doing the Lord's work.
It's a near impossible to tell. That's what we
You
got the
snap.
FBI for.
Speaking of the FBI, I hope I'm not skipping over too quick. In the world of entertainment, hip hop, whatever you say, Lil Durk got caught up in Miami. And I'm gonna kind of jumble the story around, jumping back and forth. But basically, he was in Miami. He ordered a ticket to Switzerland and to Dubai, but he was actually going to get on a private plane to Italy. So I did my homework. Italy and Switzerland has extradition laws with the United States. So if he'd have went there, they'd have arrested him and sent him back to the States. Dubai, however, doesn't have extradition laws with the United States, so he'd have been quote unquote safe. So bad decision making all around on him. But basically, what it was, this is retaliatory for the death of King Von back in 2020. He hired five guys, part of his crew, or OTF, which is I'm looking at my phone here for my notes. Only the
Gotta say,
family.
you gotta
Only the
say,
family.
you gotta say allegedly. It's not
Allegedly, yes.
yeah.
He allegedly hired five of his guys, murder for hire, to take one-way flights to LA to perform the murder and then one-way flights back. I guess they didn't want no paper trail. But the crazy thing about it though, what got him is a childhood friend that goes way back, had been wearing a wire for years for the FBI on him. The same friend was in jail. He came out to get my notes right. Sorry. He came out, he gave him $50,000, gave him a house, gave him a recording deal. And all the time this guy's wearing a wire waiting for him to trip up. One, what kind of deal did the FBI give him for him to wear a wire against a childhood friend? That's some scandalous shit. You came up in the dirt with him with syrup sandwiches and free lunches or whatever, and you bite the hand that feeds you. You come out with nothing. You come out of prison with nothing, and he hands you, I'm not gonna say everything, but enough to get started back in regular life. It's funny, King Von had a song called Federal Nightmares, and he says, and I quote, "It's not gonna be your phone, it's gonna be that one that calls your friend, sitting on the stand with his head down like he doesn't know you." I just found that song today and I listened to it and I'm just like, wow, sure enough, there it was. So he's going to be sitting on the stand, head down. And the only time he's going to look up is say, can you point out the defendant? Point out the person, and he's going to do that and then put his head right back down. Such shameful shit. That's bogus. Um, I sent you a clip yesterday. A friend of mine, he had a long spiel about, and I was trying to get him on the show today. And a couple of things he said is, we're looking at the obvious, but there's more to it. In little Dirk's case, what about his daughters? With his children, his
Mhm.
girl, his family. I hope he has something set up to, you know, to keep them going, that they don't, go into, financial despair or whatever, because their actions, his actions as the head of the household or the breadwinner is going to affect them. Are they taken care of, or are they going to suffer and fall because of a bad decision by him? A terrible decision, if you ask me. Um, Even though him and King Von had a tight relationship, there's ways to do things and taking the law into your hands. And for the FBI to want to wire a friend of his to follow him around and pick up what he says, do we have the hip hop police too in Chicago? You know, just like New York, they said they created a division just for the rappers, the hip hop police. Is that going on here where they just sitting around waiting for him to do something? And it's shameful that it's somebody you know, somebody you trust, somebody you call brother. You know, it's terrible. Just everything about it is terrible. And
Well, they're going to, of course, do it because rappers are making it easy. They're rapping about the crime. Like Lil Durk had a song where he talked about this too. Ain't no point in getting a lawyer if your homie wore a wire. Ain't no. He talked about when Young Thug went to jail. He thought he was gonna go to jail because he told him about the 5 bodies he dropped. He literally put that in a song, and I'm like, why would y'all like? Why you speak on a crime? It's like you got to brag about it. Like just
right,
like be quiet. And with his homies wearing a wire, it's like there's no more, like they talk about loyalty. There's no loyalty in it because they don't follow those rules. Once they get jammed up, they're gonna be like, "Whew, I got you such and such right now, right?"
man.
They change up quick. They not made of that cloth. Like I'm a stick laws because I made that decision too. I made that decision to be in the streets. They ain't thinking like that. They thinking, oh, I gotta get out of this. This ain't the heat I thought I was ready for.
Right.
And that's the problem in it. Cause they're gonna be like, man, they looking at 20 years, 30 years. Nah, I can't go out like that. Let me get
That motherfucker sitting in the questioning room with a double cheeseburger combo meal. Man, talking and eating.
and ain't that the biggest shame that kids nowadays are like itching to be a part of that. Like they pretending to be a part of it. Like, oh, I
Or
want to have I want to have a switch. I want to have this gun, that gun. But when they heat on your ass and you gotta man up. And I think a comedian Ali Shadid talked about this. Like, because most people they talk about people who go to jail and they end up becoming gay and all that stuff and all that. He's like, nah, that's in you. That's in you already. That was out. That was in you when you was on the street. Now you in here, you either become that, the gay stuff, or you man up. And a lot of people don't man up when they get in them walls. They like they become they want to get protection. Like who can protect me in here? Like or you know they don't man up in that. And I think that's true though, because people act so tough on these streets, but when you in that heat on your ass.
when you're in that real situation,
Yeah.
when you by yourself and not with your 30 homies,
Yeah.
it's a whole different. But the thing that I guess I take real personal, that really got me sting, is I'm big on loyalty. I'm loyal to a fault. Um, this man was wearing a wire. How come, you, hey, don't talk around me? They got me on the wire, or don't write a little note or some shit. That way you holding up your end of the bargain, but again, you showing loyalty to the people that was there for you. Now his picture is all over the place. He's I'm not gonna say his name, OFT Jam. Um, his picture's all over the place, and people know who he is. So he's gonna have to relocate.
Man, you want to go in witness protection, man, because that's
He's
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be threats on his life.
But so the bigger issue is okay. Chicago is the originator of drill hip hop or drill music, they call it. That thing is taking off like wildfire. It spread to New York. I think it's in the Southwest. I think it's on the West Coast too. But I know for a fact um, it's reached across the globe. Drill music is popular in Brazil too. And I remember when I went there, I for work linked up with some guys and they was like, why the fuck y'all bring that drill music over here? You know, and then that it's just that bad. I guess they drilling in your head to be super ignorant or whatever. But that drill music is it's like you can't even say shit on record without people getting killed. FBG Duck, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He wrote this song called something fuck you
Dead
did
bitches.
dead bitches, yeah. Um, he wrote that song, and how could you not do that song and not think there'd be consequences? And what ended up happening to him, you know, again, I ain't gonna say rap music, drill music and social media. You mix that up. So here he is going live saying where he's at shopping downtown, and they come up on him. And he knew it was over. He told the people that was with him to get away from him. You don't want to get caught up in this. He gets killed. He's shopping for his daughter. So now, you know, his daughter's gonna every time her birthday come around, she's gonna be thinking about, you know, like oh that's Temptation song. That was the day my daddy died. And it's
Hey,
it.
what's and not to gear off subject, but is music worse or better than that London rap? Because they do the same thing. The I forget what it's called, the overseas rap, where they talk about it's like I forget what type of music it's called. But they have the same thing when they talking about bodies that they didn't cut up, killed, and everything. It's rappers over there doing that.
It's
It's
probably a offshoot of drill music.
yeah, yeah. But I just think I don't know if drill music is the cause of that, but I think overall gangster rap and being a gangster is like it's enticing to people, and I don't know why. Like if you like even if you watch the gangster movies, right? How do they always end? Somebody end up dying or getting shot
Or in
up
jail, in jail.
or in jail. In
Yeah.
jail. And I ain't trying to go out either way. So I'm like, I don't think the risk. But
So
they had a highs where they making millions of dollars and
you
Corvettes and all this stuff. But
so
then
you made me think of something. Uh and as always, shout out to my man Roy Tiger Brown, rest in peace. Love you, bro. He used to say, everybody wants these problems until they get these problems. And he wasn't saying that in a gangster way. He was a competitive bowler. And that was his way of bragging. But that statement holds true. Everybody wants that gangster lifestyle until you have to be gangster. Now you got to show and prove. And I got to go get the biggest guns. It's not worth it. If you're making $1 million, separate yourself from that shit, or be conscious of what you're doing. You're making $1 million, but you're feeding hate into the minds of those that don't have $1 million, and they want to be just like you. So they figure they gotta act like you, and they figure acting like you is what you're saying in your music. So at the end of the day, you got to be conscious of the content you're putting out there. But at the same time, back in the 80s, when our form of gangster rap came out, the powers that be found that as a way to feed the hate, to divide and separate. Oh, he's wearing blue. Oh, he's wearing red. To separate us. Now it's not even about colors. It's about, hey, I stay on 61st and you stay on 63rd. I got to take you out, some shit like that. That's what it's turned into is territorial. I'm from O Block, or I'm from whatever the fuck. They've injected hate into people's minds, and they're acting off of that every day. There's this Facebook page that I follow called Chi-Town Crowd Chasers, Crime Chasers, and I'm seeing every day, gunshot victim on this street, victim is deceased, or random shots. They're trying to live off that hate music, that music that's programming them to hate and kill their own brothers and sisters. And I don't want to sound like Malcolm Farrakhan when I say that, but that's the only ones we're targeting. We're targeting ourselves. And I'm not saying go out and target some other, ethnic group or other neighborhood, but this is real. This You get shot, and you get killed. You don't, come back, a couple of days later and try it all over again. It's once and done. If you're not the victim, and you are the assailant and you get caught, the rest of your life is in jail. And now you got to worry if your manhood is going to, your manhood is in balance. You don't know. The county is one thing, but when you go to prison, it's a whole different ball game.
Well, I don't think I like I said before. I don't think that's you ain't got to worry about your manhood is in question if you made it that. If you truly like that, you ain't got to worry about that because only to me, and I had to bring this to a movie, but and you know what movie I'm finna say, Stacy. No, no, that movie.
Minister Society.
No, lockdown. I think it's called I think it's called Lockdown.
Mm.
With Stacy's he has a cellmate with it's a white supremacist Aryan Brotherhood. I think he was, but he gives him like a magazine, right? He has him sit down and everything, reading the magazine, like, oh, this is cool. Then one of his soldiers come up and they close the cell door, and it's the scene that messed him up as an actor. He said,
This
the guy
movie
who
called
played Stacy.
Lockdown.
Yeah. Let me uh let me find it for you so you can let me find it for you. DeAndre Bonds, that's his name too.
Okay, I know who he is. He was in Sunset Park. He was in Tales from the Hood.
If I show you this, you should remember because Master P in it too. Let me see what's a
Yeah,
good
you're coming up
almost
blurry.
almost. Let me see. Dang it. This is get it close.
Yeah, I can see
Can
it
you
up
remember?
close. But it's called
You remember?
Lockdown.
It's called Lockdown.
No, I
He
never
said
saw
that
that
movie
movie.
messed said that movie messed him up. And
Mm,
there's a scene in there where he actually getting raped. But you can tell he not about that life. He just
mm.
like got caught being with on some street stuff. He got caught in the middle of that. He's not about that life. That's what most of these kids is.
Not
You
about
can
that
tell that
life
not about that life. But they in that life and they think it's cool, this all that stuff. But into that heat, get
until
on
that
your
shit
ass.
goes down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's where you gotta man up. And like you gotta man up. And most of them, they don't. They they punk out. And that's crazy. That's crazy to me. But as you on the street, you talking about all this killing. I got this AR, I got this switch, I'm bad, I'm this and that. But when you in there by yourself and you gotta figure that out, I don't want to do it.
So back to the fact that Little Dirk is has been scooped up, charged or accused of exactly. Let me see. So I know one is murder for hire, attempted murder for hire, something else, and it's something else. So I'm sure they're gonna bring him up on gun charges. All of this is not looking good.
Well, you know he indicted in 2 states. They got a warrant in California
California,
and in
right?
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they going for the death penalty or life. That's which is crazy. That's
Yes.
I mean that's think about. I mean he's a perfect example of what you shouldn't do when you get money. You got to chill out here. All that gangster stuff ain't gonna get you nowhere. But this,
So yeah, what I was reaching back to say is, okay, here he is with the charge. Let's put him at the high of the pedestal, and the people below him, his family, people that he put on in the recording industry, and everything that trickles on down is like, what happens to him? What happens to them? And I'm not trying to make light uh of his charges, but his family, is there something set up for them? Are they going to have to get in the game just to survive? These people that he took off the streets, now they got to go back to the streets to eat because he he left a legacy. He had a trail. He had a foundation of growth for everybody, and he took it all away. And I'm not justifying or not trying to justify or downplaying what he did. He had loyalty to King Von. They were real tight, and he felt the need for street justice. That's loyalty. I'm not praising him for doing street justice. I'm praising him for his loyalty, for like, hey, something's going wrong. And the code of
well,
the street is they're not gonna tell the authorities because that's snitching. But they want to take care of themselves. It's
I hate that in a way because all them people begging for him to slide, they wouldn't slide. They wouldn't slide for their own mouth, and all them people begging for him to do this and do that. Right? They ain't like that, but they begging him to do that, risk his life, risk his foundation, his
yeah.
charity, his
Well,
all this
what you gonna
for
do
what?
about it? What you gonna do
Yeah.
about it, OG? Oh, so he was given a key to the city in a Chicago suburb, Broadview.
Mm.
They immediately revoked that key to the city. They immediately verbally took it back. Physically he still has the plaque or whatever, but now they want to distance themselves from him. Just like
Understandable.
When New York did to Diddy. Yeah, and it's making it hard for the next guy that's really just trying to make good music, entertain, build a legacy for his family, you know, create foundations. They got to work just it's extra hard to gain their trust for them to, be open to them doing something charitable and not thinking that this guy's going to turn around and do something violent. So
Well,
again, it's just a domino effect.
50 Cent is the perfect example though. He's a guy that was on probation, went to jail, all that stuff, sold drugs, had his own criminal empire, but he turned his life around. He's a great entrepreneur, great businessman, got multiple shows he producing and everything. That's the model they should follow if you're in that street crime.
I seriously doubt 50 will ever go back to the streets like that, to that street mentality. Matter of fact, I don't think he puts himself in that position. Um, you can give back to your neighborhood, your community, but you don't have to hang out in the community no more. Because then they're going to take it, hey, such and such is going on. What you going to do about it? Man, 50 will probably be like, shit, that ain't my problem. Y'all take care of that. If you see it, you take care of it. 50 not gonna be like, man, let's go get them guns. Let's go handle that right now. I think 50 is tactical. Even when he's being petty against, other artists or whoever, he's real tactical. And I don't think
That's
he
what I
would put himself in a position to be
that's
dragged
what
back into
that's
the streets.
that's what I mean. They should follow that model because he's done it all and reaching even greater heights. That's what you should do. Don't reach back and try to be a part of the street stuff. Elevate and then elevate the community.
And I think getting shot 9 times to it make you think twice about the life you live.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that with him. I think that made him have no fear because I mean he was beefing with everybody. He was
Well,
beefing
I
with everybody.
mean,
But
verbal beef is one thing. It's just like it should just stay on the records. That's what I liked about old school diss songs. Ice Cube's "No Vaseline." Kumo
that didn't stay on
D's.
the that didn't stay on the record. When they saw
Well,
each
it,
other, they
it
had
did,
that
it
whole
did, it,
brawl.
it did, yeah, it did get physical, but it wasn't no guns. But I
Yeah.
mean, did nobody lose lives behind it? There was no
Mm-mm.
life lost behind it. And then it got to the death row bad boy situation where there was like deaths on both sides in bad boys camp, not artists, but people associated with the executives, and same thing with death row. So that's when the body count really started to grow. But other than that, it was just, even if it was a fist fight when you ran into each other, that's all it was. But mostly it stayed on wax and it was good. But now you make a song, especially that dead bitches, you asking for trouble. He in the song, I downloaded the day he died. I downloaded that song because I'm like, okay, what is this about? I'm like, that's some shit. He was talking about he was talking about, guys, getting shot up in the situation they got shot up in. And then there was a female that got killed. He said if she wasn't dead, she'd be sucking my dick. It's just like that's the ultimate disrespect, right there. I mean, just the song in entirety is disrespectful, but when you involve a female, like, yeah, if she wasn't dead, she'd be sucking my dick.
Well, see, that's the thing though. All that is like is back and forth beef. I think in the drill music, they don't know how to separate the streets from the art. Like that's the
Well, I
problem.
think I think they're taking the streets and putting it on wax. It's not about art. I think it's
Mm.
just a way to get under their skin, because it's all about the streets. It's all about you know this block or this crew, get into it with this crew or whatever. So they
That's
they
what that's
dig
what I
they dig it even deeper when they put it on wax, and they say it's
that's what I mean.
beef.
That's what I mean. They can't separate the art, which is rap and hip hop, from the streets. So it's drill music now. It's and Ti was talking about this. Drill music is just another form of trap music. But trap music talked
Rap
about what
music
they
was about.
did. Talked about what they did in the past. Drill music is talking about what they're currently doing. Like
Right,
that's the
right.
problem. That's the problem. And you can't ain't no moving in silence. Y'all talking about real stuff that you done.
So we mentioned a couple of episodes ago about Ti winning his $71 million lawsuit,
Mhm.
and then on the heels of that, he's retiring. He says, I ain't got to get on stage and sweat no more for people." It's just like I think that statement he shouldn't have said. He should have been like, "I did what I had to do in the rap game. I'm stepping back." But he was like, "I ain't got to jump on the stage and dance for the man no more, or whatever, sweat for the man." And I'm not wishing bad luck on him. So let me start by saying this. But if he was to ever lose that money, fuck it all, bad investments, embezzled, stolen, or whatever, that same statement that he just stood on, he'd have to swallow and get back on the stage and dance and sweat. I don't want to say like a monkey, but you know, careful what you say, bruh. And I'm
I
like,
don't
I'm like, and I got a question as too. He filed the lawsuit, true enough, because they stole the image of three individuals, his daughter and two other girls. It doesn't sound like he's sharing. Because if it, no, I'm seriously, it doesn't sound like he's sharing. It was because of them that he filed the lawsuit. But it doesn't sound like he's sharing. It sounds like he's taking that 71 million dollars and pocketing it for himself. But should he be giving something to them for their likeness that was stolen?
I
He just
100% agree with that.
just
But to me, Ti's catalog, he should have been able to stop a long time ago performing.
that's what I thought. That's
Yeah,
what I
with his
thought.
catalog. But the 71 million, and now if he ain't sharing that, that's ridiculous because that's on the back of his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and her
And two other
friends.
individuals, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's crazy. But you know,
Yeah, wouldn't that be
if
funny
it
if she take him to court for that 71 million?
wow. It's a family dynamic there. But
Then he then he'll be on the I'm back tour.
but with
Two
his
shows
catalog,
a night.
he should have been able to retire. And to me, it's like most of these artists, they live a lifestyle, and I get it. It's an amazing lifestyle. But Lil Wayne, like to me, Lil Wayne should have never been able to have to sell his catalog because that's something like he should have already been secure with the
I don't
money he's made.
see what the money he's made. Just look at the lavish lifestyle. There was nothing fake about it. All his jewelry was real. All the homes, he had the marijuana habit. I forgot there was a dollar amount attached to it. I don't think he was thinking about saving at the time. That's why now he's getting older and he's realized, so he sold his catalog. It's just wow. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering if I don't think that's the same for everybody, but a lot of artists are doing that. Bruce Springsteen, he sold his catalog. Does he feel like he's not doing anything? He's peaked. He doesn't need the money anymore. He's cashing out. I don't know, but I would think honestly in the Little Wayne's case, he fucked off his money doing extravagant shit, and he's looking at his bank account like realizing it should have been more. Living for the moment.
man, that's crazy though to me. All these artists is making millions of dollars, and I see like Chris Brown. He's the one that I think should be able to stop anytime he wants. Yeah, hell, even Cardi B, even though she's more of a, I think she's still new. I would say because she ain't got. I don't think she has 10 plus decades or ten
No,
decade or one
no,
decade rather. I'm
no,
sorry.
no, not at all.
Yeah, so I think she's still new, but still, I think with the money she's made, she can retire. Her catalog is that.
If if she saved her money wisely. I've seen her
I
doing some wild extravagant shit too.
I know Nicki Minaj, she can retire. I'm sure she can.
Again, if
Yeah,
she's been
yeah,
spending wisely
true,
and not
true.
extravagantly. She has the potential to have, depending on how she's spent.
Yeah, I don't understand how some rappers who I think wouldn't struggle like Lil Wayne, but Takashi 6ix9ine, he living comfortable, or supposedly living comfortable with his lifestyle, and he ain't got his catalog ain't nowhere near as vast as the artists I just mentioned.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't understand what he into. I know he got that one video that has over 1 billion streams, which is crazy. I ain't never been in his music like that ever. But it- there's no way he's living off of that. I don't think so. He got cars, watches, houses, different Puerto Rican girlfriends every month.
I hope he's done something wise with it. I really hope so. And it looks like he has. It look because he's showing it off, but he's not. If you look at him, he's not too extravagant about it. He's not too over the board, with his gear. I mean, he's still, he holding his arm out with the money rolls down his arm and everything, flexing like that. But then again, who who should have that much liquid cash laying around? My shit would be in the bank. I mean, I'm sure whatever that comfortable amount would be, I would have cash in the little safe at the house, but not enough to be riding down my arm
That's
and
that's a
showing off.
that's another thing with him. Why would? Because I don't know if you remember when he got beat up in that public gym. I'm like, well, why are you in a public gym?
Right.
That's when
Well,
I.
he doesn't have a private gym. What he didn't build a private gym on his estate, so that's where he goes. No, that's a good question. He
Yeah,
doesn't
why are
have a
you in a
private.
public
He
gym?
he doesn't have a private gym,
Man, you
but
better do some push-ups at home. You know you're a
yeah,
target.
exactly. I was just gonna say, you're
Yeah.
a target, so you better go there at 4 in the morning when there ain't nobody there to them 24-hour joints with your homie, not the pistol, or get you a Peloton and put it in the basement or something. But yeah, that just goes to show you he probably doesn't have a private gym. And I'd be curious to see how he's living.
The way he put on social media, like he living extravagant. You know? But that's always turns out to be a lie. But the way he at least putting it out, watches, clothes, cars, money, going to clubs, all that. He put that out there. So it's great.
Hey, so on a lighter subject, with Halloween coming up in a couple of days, when is the last time you've been to a Halloween party and you dressed up?
Ooh, I mean, you talking? I had to be like 24, 23 at the time, man. I ain't
Mm.
dressed up in a minute on that. I ain't, Halloween, I just watch scary movies, man. That's all I do. That's all I do. And then
Last time I,
I cut the lights off when they come trick or treat.
because
Pretend like I'm not home.
because you don't have a front door per se. You got your front door is like your side door, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you get a lot of trick or treaters?
Nah, I think last year we got a couple, but we didn't get a nah.
Do y'all actually buy candy to pass out?
We buy candy for the house. We don't buy it to pass out.
So y'all don't answer the door, huh?
Nope, we treat them like Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Forgive me, but you know.
Well, that's what we do to Jehovah Witnesses. And it's a certain time of the week. It's a Saturdays for them, but on the 31st, I haven't dressed up for Halloween since my senior year in high school. I went as Homie the Clown.
I could picture you with the sock and everything.
Yep, I had the socket. um, nah, I just wonder. I see all these TV shows with like adults say, like, what are we dressing up for Halloween? What are they doing this? And they go all out and shit. I'm sure if I went downtown I'm sure they wouldn't do it during the week, but it's like a weekend Halloween party where everybody dresses up and go downtown to the local dive bars and stuff. But
I think I think that's more of a well, you're single, so more of your activity. You can do that. I couldn't participate. I
well, I
couldn't
mean,
participate.
you and the wife could go out together.
Yeah, but we ain't that ain't our scene, That ain't our scene.
Oh, it ain't my scene neither.
That ain't our scene.
I mean, if you trolling for trim, yeah, get dressed up and go out. But no, I don't like it. And nowadays, my thing is, I feel like it's not as safe to me in my head. Like you got people wearing masks and disguises, and they could be on some old other, BS with that.
Man.
So I just try to avoid that element altogether.
See, for me, Halloween is more like that's why I say it's a single activity, like because I see celebrities doing it, I see single celebrities doing it, and like
Married
college
couples do
kid.
it too.
Well, I haven't seen that. Just I'm talking for me personally, but I haven't seen like it be like a my age group type thing. Like I ain't seen nobody dressed up as Ninja Turtles and they in their 30s and 40s. I ain't seen that. Just for me. But I just think like I done wrapped it up. I'm good. I ain't gotta. I don't. I enjoy the Halloween movies, the jump scares, taking the kids to
Yeah.
haunted houses and all that. I ain't trying to do the dress up stuff. I ain't with all that. Not saying I ain't a kid at heart, because I still, I watch my anime, and I watch Dragon Ball Z. That's a great show. But no, of course I'm a little bit of kid at heart, but I ain't with the Halloween stuff.
You guys do Christmas? The decorations, the lights, the trees, and stuff, all that.
Well, not on the outside. We do the lights and stuff, but
Hmm.
not really, not to like a high degree. Put the tree up and all that stuff. You
Hmm.
know, no gifts under the tree and all that. Which, I say as a kid, I was just excited when we put the tree up, because I was getting my one gift, one gift a year. So that was like, hey, that was cool to me. I was just excited we put the tree up, and I got the Christmas turkey. That's it.
So something I learned, in life, I've never had a bad Christmas. And it's not to say that we're rich. It's just that my mother didn't want us to go through what she went through as a kid. So, I mean, it wasn't hundreds of presents, maybe four or five, for me, four or five for my sister, whatever. But I don't know what a bad Christmas is. And I remember I would go back to school, like in grammar school days, and the topic was, what did you get for Christmas? And everybody would talk and brag and about stuff, and then you notice that the same people was always silent about that, or they'd walk away from the conversation. And I remember having a conversation with some of those kids as an adult, and they was like, yeah, no, we didn't get nothing for Christmas. It was too many of us in the house, whatever the situation was. And she said, but we go to school, we hear everybody bragging about what they got. And I was grateful that my mother went that extra mile for us. And I wasn't one to brag because I didn't want to tell people what I got. Okay, I come over your house and play with it. Hell no. That's why, just
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I was fronting when that conversation came up. Boy, I'd be like, yeah, I got Tim's, I got the NBA 2K, I got NBA Live, I got a PlayStation.
I'm
Man,
sure
I
I'm
was
sure there
fronting
was
like
people in that group too that was front too. Oh, I got the new GI Joe, the new He-Man, this and that. I'm aging myself, but no, and I became real grateful for that. And one day I was in my adulthood, and I was watching the news, and this lady was talking about how her son was going to get nothing for Christmas, and and he deserves better because he cooks, he cleans, he does chores, doesn't talk back, he gets good grades. And being I don't have any kids, I called my sister up. I told her to gather up all my nephew's old toys because they were going to get new stuff anyway. I said I wanted to give it to the needy. And I did that for like 3 years straight, and I don't know why I stopped. It was, just whatever. It's just I would see the stories, the sob stories on the news, and I just wanted to do something about it. I think that's out of all the hardships we go through, kids shouldn't have to suffer for that. You know, kids are just being kids, and they don't need to deal with adult shit. I mean, yes, either get you some gifts and no lights, or take your pick. They shouldn't have to have that option. But yeah,
I you bring up a good point. I guess we'll end with this question. What do you do when you pull up to an intersection, or you going into a store, and you see people out there begging for change, or hey, can you buy me something? Or what do you do? How did that make you feel? Two-part
well,
question.
no, how does it make me feel? Well, well, let me tell you about what I do. I roll up the windows and I look straight if I'm in the car. You, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
And if I'm going into a store, I ain't got no cash. But I feel if you can be out begging, you could be out trying to do something to, make cash. If a person comes up and they want to wash my windows, now see, here's where it differs. If a person wants to wash my windows, I'd be like, no, but here, take this. Why? Because they was willing to work for it. And how do I feel about it? It makes me more conscious of my spending because that could very well be me. Just being honest.
I always feel it do make me feel some type of way. I always seeing those people out here, and I know it's some scammers out here too. But
Right.
it made me think about when I was a kid, like how you know you had to kind of fend for yourself type behavior, and like that is I get it. Like people out here struggling. This tent city has been up since I've been alive. That's been in Chicago. Even though they moved it or that some people have moved out of that, the tent city's been up since I've been a kid.
No, they moved it out of the public eye now.
Yeah,
It's still somewhere.
yeah. But it always made me think like there's always gonna be people that need that extra bump. Cause I was one of those people that needed an extra bump before. And I know I always tell the story when I came up here getting out of college. Like I ain't have a job for like 5 months, and I came up here for an interview, and my car had broke down. Man, everything happened that day. Everything happened. Car broke down. Had to get it towed. Didn't have no money. Had to scrape up money to get a ticket to the Union Station just to get back home. And I ended up missing the train, which lucky they exchanged it for another ticket. But I couldn't stay at the station, so I had to pretend like I'm waiting on the station until they finally kicked me out, and then I had to wait till it opened up again the next day. And then I'm basically seeing what it's like to be homeless downtown because they come out and they sleep in front of the storefronts and all that, right? So I'm walking around just buying time till the Union Station open back up. So I end up having to sleep on a bus stop. And and the funny thing is, boy, I know what it's like to feel like you dirty. Cause man, my motherfucking back ass was itching, and I'm like, I'm like, I understand. I feel like I'm dirty as hell there. But I had a taste of that, that what I felt like I lost when I was a kid. Like, damn,
Hmm.
I don't want to be back to this. And
Right.
you work harder. You work harder. So when I got my first job, which was a shitbag company, but I ended up getting my first job, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work hard as hell because I ain't going to that. I ain't
Right.
going to that. But that whole experience made me think of that. Like, man, that's why when I see homeless people out here, I always it's a case by case basis too. Sometimes I buy them something to eat, or I buy them some chips and drink or whatever. Or if I got it on me, some cash at that point, or a dollar or something, I'll give it to them. But it's a case by case basis because some people you
Out
can
there
tell
scamming.
they front, yeah,
They
they out
probably
there
getting
scamming.
a SSI check, and they just trying to make some extra cash. They like shit. Well, let me get out
Yeah,
here and see how much I can get.
yeah. I seen too many success stories on news where they homeless and they go get in a GT 300. I'm like,
It's parked
damn, I
down the
got.
street. Yeah.
I'm like, damn. Yeah, you can tell too, because some of them be having on Jordans, fresh ones too. Like I'm like, come
They
on, man.
they really not committed to the role.
Yeah.
Meant to it.
I think we done had another great episode. 23,
23,
like the
the GOAT
great
episode.
Jordan, not LeBron, but or Devin Hester.
Uh, Next one would be 24, the great Kobe.
Yeah,
Kobe
yeah, but
episode.
no, we definitely hope the audience had a good time listening to us, enjoyed our our rhetoric, because we throw a couple jokes in there. But hopefully y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Give us some suggestions, some topics to talk about, things you want to listen to. some things you would like us to do. So please give some comments out there for us.
So we do have a email address that you can send all those comments to. You can also, if you're seeing this on YouTube, of course, you can comment below. But the email address is WTFellasThink at gmail.com. So yeah, send us your comments, your feedback, your hate mail about me. I'll read it unedited. I'm challenging you. Send it to me unedited. I will read it word for word and verbatim. And if I have a response, I will respond. If I don't, I'm just reading. But yeah, another great episode. When we come back, hopefully we'll be I
Full
was gonna
team.
say yeah, full team. Yeah. I was gonna say a threesome. Yeah. I'm glad you said full team. Yes. Um Jeremy's all right. We just recording on an off day. We just didn't get our signals tied in together correctly. But always a great show when it's the Roy and Brandon show or the Brandon and Roy show. We have a good time.
We're
And
gonna
we
have a
will
good time regardless.
exactly. Um that's all I got. Brandon, any parting words?
Well, I already said it, like, comment, and subscribe. We need want to get audience participation. So let's treat it like class. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us what you want to know, your thoughts. That's all we need.
See you next time.